What would you do if the man who taught your children to swim, the one you trusted implicitly, was secretly dismantling your entire life? One stolen kiss at a time? I never thought I would find myself staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m., the blue light illuminating a text message that felt like a physical blow to the chest. It wasn't just a text, it was a photograph. A photograph of my wife, Sarah, in the arms of Mark, our kid's swim instructor from last summer. The air in our bedroom, usually thick with the quiet hum of a sleeping house, suddenly felt thin, suffocating. My world, built on 2 decades of shared dreams and promises, was collapsing, not with a bang, but with the silent, insidious glow of a smartphone. My hands trembled, not with anger yet, but with a cold, paralyzing dread. The image burned into my retinas, Sarah's head tilted back, a smile I hadn't seen in years gracing her lips, Mark's arm possessively around her waist. It was a scene of intimate betrayal, captured in a single damning frame, and I knew, with a sickening certainty, that this was just the beginning of a nightmare I was about to unravel. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my wife, the mother of my children, had been cheating, not with some stranger, but with Mark, the charismatic, tanned swim instructor we'd welcomed into our lives, into our home. Last summer, he'd taught 8-year-old Lily her butterfly stroke and 6-year-old Ben how to dive. He'd eaten dinner at our table, laughed at my jokes, and looked me in the eye with a smile that now felt like a venomous lie. I started noticing things, small, almost imperceptible shifts. Sarah's phone, once left carelessly on the counter, was now always with her, face down. Late-night work calls that stretched into hours. A new perfume, too sweet to cloying, that wasn't her usual scent. She'd become distant, her eyes holding a guardedness I couldn't penetrate. Our conversations, once easy and flowing, were now clipped, transactional. She'd snap at the kids for minor infractions, something entirely out of character for the patient mother I knew. The discovery was slow, agonizing. I started checking our shared phone bill, noticing a pattern of calls to an unfamiliar number. Always late at night, always from Sarah's line. Then a receipt for a boutique hotel in downtown Chicago. Tucked away in her purse, dated for a weekend she'd claimed to be at a women's retreat in Milwaukee. The final, undeniable proof came from a burner phone I found hidden in her gym bag. A trove of texts, explicit and sickening, between her and Mark. They spoke of secret rendezvous, whispered promises, and a future that didn't include me. So boring, one text read, referring to me. "You're everything I ever wanted." Another from Mark. Sarah, once caught, didn't beg or apologize. Instead, she became cold, manipulative. She gaslit me, accusing me of being paranoid, controlling. "You're imagining things, David. You're stressed." She even tried to turn the children against me, subtly planting seeds of doubt about my temper, my presence. Mark, meanwhile, seemed to revel in his untouchable status. I saw him at the grocery store once, pushing a cart with a woman I assumed was his girlfriend, a smug smirk playing on his lips as he caught my eye. They thought they had one. They thought I was broken, defeated, and for a while I was. I remember sitting in my home office, the blinds drawn, the world outside a blur. I cried until my eyes were raw, until there were no more tears left. The man I was, the husband, the father, felt like a hollowed-out shell. But in that emptiness, something else began to stir, a cold, hard resolve. They had taken everything from me, my peace, my trust, my family's sanctity. I would take everything from them. I started gathering proof, meticulously, patiently. I hired a private investigator, a quiet woman named Elena, who moved like a shadow. She documented their every illicit meeting, every whispered conversation, every shared meal. Bank statements, credit card records, GPS data from Sarah's car. I built a fortress of evidence, consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Ms. Davies, who specialized in high-asset cases and infidelity. She laid out the legal landscape, the traps I could set. I also started anonymously leaking information to local gossip blogs and community forums, painting a picture of Mark's predatory behavior with married women. The traps were set. First, the legal one. Ms. Davies filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences and presenting the mountain of evidence of Sarah's infidelity. The financial implications for Sarah were devastating. Then came the social trap. The anonymous tips I'd planted began to bear fruit. Parents at the kids' school started whispering. Mark's swim academy, once thriving, saw a sudden exodus of clients. His reputation, his livelihood, began to crumble. The public exposure happened in the most brutal way. During a particularly contentious custody hearing, Davies presented the burner phone texts, projected onto a large screen for the entire courtroom to see. The gasps were audible. Sarah's face, usually composed, crumbled. The judge, a stern woman, looked at her with undisguised contempt. The local news, alerted by an anonymous tip, ran a story that night detailing the scandal involving a prominent local family and a beloved swim instructor. Mark's girlfriend left him. His business folded. Sarah was completely ruined. She lost the house, significant alimony, and shared custody of the children, with strict conditions. Her social circle evaporated. The women she once called friends now looked through her. Mark, stripped of his business and his reputation, left town a pariah. I stood on the porch of our old house, now legally mine, watching the kids play in the yard. The sun was setting, casting long shadows. The air was cool, quiet. There was no triumph, no joy, only a profound, chilling emptiness. The revenge was complete, but the silence it left behind was deafening. And sometimes in the dead of night, I still hear the faint, distant echo of a text message. The end.